It just seemed like in that second quarter, the shots just stopped falling, and I'm curious what you maybe attribute that to. Were they good looks? Were the Magic being a little more physical than they were in the first quarter?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, like, I think as important was that they made everything, you know, and there were a few situations that I thought we defended well, and they made plays and made shots. And when that happens, you know, we can't get deflated by that, and it's hard, you know, when you keep seeing the ball going and you're taken out of the net, and you contrast that to the early part of the game. So in any event, and then it was a game where we had a lot of really good looks. You know, we were on the rim. And I think you shoot 39%, and it's hard to win like that. But I don't. Sometimes you have tough nights shooting the ball. But I thought for the most part, you know, we did some good things to get those, you know, those shots at the rim. You know, they were good looks, and they're the shots we make. So there's some games you say, you know, you could have done X, Y, and Z, and then there's other games you say, well, you got to put the ball in the basket, and it's usually a little bit of both. But I thought we really competed. You know, it was a choppy game with a lot of things, you know. So that's another story.
Also called P3 Hoops. I saw you talk to Zach earlier in the game. He was getting the ball, career high in rebounds tonight. What do you guys think when he's going coast to coast with the ball?
I love it. You know, he's confident and aggressive in transition, and you know, as I said before, he's going to continue to get better, and that's something. You know, sometimes with 27, 26 games left, you know, you can feel like I've done this to get to this point. Now let's play. And I think that's a mistake. You know, when you have, you know, a couple months left, like you can keep improving. And you know, that's not just for Zach, but that's for, you know, all our guys. Particularly given, you know, we're integrating three players that, you know, it's their third game. I think that's right. So that's, you know, I'm not using that as an excuse in any way, but that's a real thing. You know, and last time we played these guys, we had Larry and Pete, you know, so that's been something, to be honest, that I think our team has dealt with incredibly well throughout the course of the season. You know, guys like Mo and Dom, who, you know, hadn't played for us up until, you know, a couple weeks ago, that came in and gave us good minutes, and you know, we got to continue to work and continue to, you know, get connected and continue to compete like we did tonight. I mean, you should feel good. I feel good about how we battled. So,
Coach, you talked about the game being choppy. How did you feel like your guys handled their frustration level with officiating, maybe not going their way at times?
Yeah, you know, there's always a point where you need to adjust, but you know, we had 5 team fouls and they had none. About 2 minutes in the third quarter. You know, you can get focused on some of those things, and you know, the things that you can't control, you try to not, you know, internalize it and fixate on. But that said, like, you go out and play the game, and you're playing that hard, and the game's that physical. It's easy for me to say that, but obviously you always want to keep your composure. But you know, I thought our guys came back together. You know, came back together during those moments and really continued to compete. You know, it felt at times like we were down more, and you look up and, you know, it's a 6-point game. And we talked about that a lot in timeouts, and you know, that our guys again responded well to that.
Coach, I thought Clint Capella did a few things that didn't show up in the box score. I thought I saw him get a couple deflections, just some defensive plays. Curious as to what you saw to him his first game after missing 8.
Yeah, you know, we've seen Clint block a shot. You know, we've seen him defensive rebound. One of the things I think that he did tonight and he's done before is, you know, when he's locked in down in the stance, defending out on the floor. I think sometimes because he's, you know, a center, that you can lose track of those things. And he really took a challenge in the second half, you know, particularly in pick and roll. It was good to see.
Coach, with guys like George and Onyeka and I can't remember who else, but a couple foul troubles, it gave you an opportunity to look at a couple different rotations. What did you like about some of those looks that you got tonight?
Yeah, you'd rather have that happen in other ways, but that was the case. You know, Dom in particular, I think came in and, you know, gave us really good minutes. Got a tip in, made a shot. You know, he's a really smart player. And he facilitates a lot of things that sometimes don't show up in the box score. And you know, those guys are, you know, I think he's 21. You know, and I think Mo may be 21 too. I know they're all somewhere in there. It's hard to keep track. So the biggest thing for those guys is just get out there and, you know, embrace the opportunity they have and compete and be unselfish. And that's what they do. And you know, the results usually follow that, whether they do game to game or minute to minute. If you continue to do that, I think over time, good things happen.
Coach, you talked about the three guys who got back in trade, Karras, George, and Terrence.
Looking all around.
I wanted to ask you in particular about Karras. What do you see his role as a Hawk, and what do you think he can do for you off the bench?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, the obvious thing is Karras has the ability to put the ball in the basket. Not something that gets talked about a lot is, you know, the way he defends. I think he takes a lot of pride defensively, both guarding the ball and off the ball. And that's something that's really, really important. And so he has the ability to create for himself, obviously, but also for other guys. And he's unselfish, and it's hard when, you know, you're learning new plays. You got to know under out of bounds play and a side out of bounds play, and all those situations can be a lot to absorb. And you know, I think all three of those guys, you know, have embraced that and are doing really well, you know, with those things, trying to get familiarity and then compete at the same time.
Thanks.